Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. We are going live. We're live now. So let's do this. 2, 3. Live. There we go. Hi, everyone. So we're live. And today we're going to talk about antisocial personality disorder. The antisocial personality disorder. That is our topic today. We are moving from cluster A and we're going right into cluster B. And so invite your friends. Let's talk. Let's ask questions. Let's see where we're gonna go with this. All right. I'm so glad to be with you today. I'm Dr. Akindotun Merino. And so let's do it. We've talked about paranoid personality. We've looked at schizoid personality disorder. And yesterday we talked about the schizotypal personality disorder, and now we're going to this other level of disorders today. And I want you to pull up your chair. Let's spend a minute together, and I'm sure you will learn something. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching me from. This is day number 4. Day number 4. We're watching me day number 4. This has been such a delight to be with you. Day number 4. It's day number 4, and we are together in all of this, right? And so we have moved from the cluster odd and eccentric personalities, and now we are here with the cluster B. This is the dramatic and emotional erratic group. This is the group that are often labeled. This is the group that you're coming to, oh, you're a narcissist and you're this and you're that. When we want to look at what that's like, you're borderline and you all of these things. And so let's see today what the myth, let's separate the myth from facts. All right. And let's see where we land. Uh, we're going to look at this cluster B today, and this cluster B are personalities that they feel deeply, they react powerfully, and struggle to control their emotions and their impulses. That is cluster B. So the next 4 days we're looking at uh, antisocial personality disorder. Today we'll look at antisocial personality disorder. On tomorrow we'll look at borderline personality disorder. We'll look at histrionic personality disorder, and we take a look at the narcissistic personality disorder. Let's make sure that we are all here to participate. Let's make sure that like you invite your friends. Let's hang out together. I am going to look at make sure that everyone is able to see this on all of the forum that we are part of. Okay, so here we go. See, now on Facebook it shows that we are not public, so let's edit that. Make sure that everybody is able to benefit from this. I don't know why it does that, but we are not supposed to be private. It needs to be public. So, all right. Hello, everyone. Where are you watching from? Hi, 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 hi. Hello, hello, hello. Instagram, how you doing? Antisocial personality disorder. All right. That is what we're going to do today. And we do not want this to just be We don't want it to be private. It needs to be public. So let's see. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I am with you guys. I'm here. I'm trying to sort things out here. Why? Why can't you see me on Facebook land? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Trying to figure out. Let's see. It needs to be public. All right. Trying to figure that out. All right. I'm not going to end the video. Hello, TikTok. Don't don't leave. I got a minute and we're going to do this. Okay? We're going to do this properly. I hate that I hate that I hate that Facebook is not going to be able to see it in real time. I don't like that. And it wouldn't let me fix it. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. We're here. We want to show you how to heal. We want to show you how to break through. All right. We're going to do that as soon as I can figure out why Facebook is not allowing me to change the audience. All right, all right, all right. Let's change the audience. We need to change the audience. All right. Hello, everyone. I am here. All right. Well, we're going to. Too bad, Facebook. You're not going to see this in real time. We'll figure that out. We'll figure out what's going on with that. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our Instagram audience and our StreamYard audience. All right. So we're having a look today. And TikTok in the house, a TikTok in the house. We're looking today at antisocial personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder. That is what we're talking about today. Antisocial personality disorder. Look, these things are important because they impact the way that we live our lives. So we have to talk about it. We have to make sure that we're not just labeling people, that we understand that these are real life disorders that can impact the way that we relate to the people around us. Right. So we're looking at the antisocial personality disorder today. Next, we'll look at borderline. We're going to look at histrionic, and we'll look at narcissistic. Right. So every one of this one will reveal what happens when emotions. It reveals what happens when emotions become survival. When emotion becomes survival. So today we'll begin with the challenge of antisocial personality. This is a challenge with empathy itself. When somebody is withdrawn, when somebody explodes, when somebody decides that there's too much going on emotionally with them, right? And they just are bottled up. We might be looking at antisocial personality disorder. It's usually, misunderstood. The antisocial personality disorder is often misunderstood. It's not about being unfriendly. This is not someone who is unfriendly. It is about always feeling that you're in consistent disregard of others. It's not about I want to hurt their feeling. It's just you have no regard for their feelings, and their boundaries or their rights. So it's not just about somebody that's not friendly. It's about someone who does not have any regard for your rights, for your feelings, and for your boundaries. Period. Right? That is the person we're talking about. This person doesn't care about your feelings. They don't care about your boundaries. They have no care about any of that. People with ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, will show and they will demonstrate a pattern of deceit. They are manipulative. They want to manipulate people, and they're very impulsive, and the lack of remorse. There is just a lack of remorse. They would often charm their way through life. They will charm their way through situations, and they will use other people rather than connect with them. So they use people, not connect with people, if that makes sense. They're constantly trying to figure out, how can I manipulate this person to get my way? What can I do in order for me to be to win? It's never about a win-win situation. It's, what can I do for me? How can I get my own way in this situation? So it's important to note that not everyone um, um, who is unfriendly, it's not anybody who is unfriendly is automatically ASPD. No. The key is the absence of empathy. The key is the absence of accountability. So not everyone who is upset or who is manipulative is antisocial personality disorder. They need to have this absence of empathy and absence of accountability. They feel like they can do whatever they want. They know right from wrong. Okay, it's not like they don't know right from wrong. They know right from wrong, but they don't care about it. It doesn't matter to them. So this is not the person who doesn't know what they're doing. This person knows exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. It's just they don't care about it. There's no sense of culpability. It's not there. So the antisocial personality disorder isn't about being odd, like the odd and eccentric that we did the last few days. No, this is about living without empathy. You're living without empathy. That's what this is about. It's about living without empathy. And so when that happens, it changes the way people relate to you. It changes the way that you are in their presence. They usually are very smooth talkers. They are, in any situation that they could be in, either socially, either in the courtroom, either in religious setting. They are mastermind in manipulating. They will find a way to make you give them what they need. They'll find a way to make you feel obligated to them. They will make things your fault, or they will make the situation they'll skew it into their own favor. Antisocial personality disorder. They are the charmers, man. Think of, Michael or Susan, who is outgoing, who is very confident, who is very persuasive. They lie easily to get whatever they want: money, affection, favors. It doesn't matter. The lies just rolls off them. When confronted, they'll just laugh it up. Oh, they'll say things like, "Oh, you take things too seriously. You take things too seriously. That is not that serious. Relax. Let's find another way around it." They are rule breakers. They're rule breakers. They will cut corners. They can steal from their company. They can steal resources. They will blame others when they're caught. It's never their fault. It's always about you. They feel no sense of guilt. All right. They feel no sense of guilt. However, they are frustrated when people notice or call them out on this. They get frustrated about this. It's almost like, come on, get in line. Things like that. They are frustrated. Antisocial personality disorder. Number one, like we said, they're charmers. They will charm the pants off you. They're rule breakers. They are also very personable in their own lives. In relationships, at first they're very exciting. They're very interested in you, interested in what you want. They're very spontaneous, very passionate, very passionate. But when you know they're challenged about anything, they can become very cruel, very distant. They don't care about apologizing. But they will do it if it will help them manipulate you. All right. So it's not like something that they'll care for, but they will say, I'm sorry, just so that they can get whatever it is that they want. Is that making sense? Right. And so when we're looking at the antisocial personality, we're not looking at rarity and all of the things I've said. These are things that will play out in every life situation. It will play out in their workplace. It will play out in their community. It will play out in their families, in their relationships, everywhere. People with ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, can be very intelligent. They are charmers, but beneath all of that lies emotional emptiness, just emotionally empty. There's just nothing there. They lack empathy. Charm without empathy is the most dangerous combination. Charm without empathy, very dangerous, because they can do and undo. They can do and undo. The core features, according to the DSM-5, the core features of the antisocial personality disorder would include the following. They repeatedly break laws or social rules. Repeatedly. They're deceitful and manipulative for their own personal gain. Very deceitful, very manipulative for their own personal agendas, right? Number 3, impulsive or the failure to plan ahead. They'll jump into things, without really looking at the cost, because they feel like they will just find a way through everything, through every idea that comes into their head. They can be very aggressive, and they can get into physical fights. There's a lot of domestic violence that happens with antisocial personality. Very reckless disregard for safety. They disregard their safety for themselves or for others. They're consistently irresponsible. They're irresponsible at work. They're irresponsible with the money. They're irresponsible with family. Consistently irresponsible. One of the highlights of this is the lack of remorse after they've harmed other people. Just the lack of remorse. So let me go over these features again for antisocial personality. Number 1, repeatedly breaking laws or social rules. Number 2, deceitfulness and manipulation for their own personal gain. Very impulsive, failure to plan ahead. There's no plan. We're just going to go for it. Very aggressive, and they can end up being bullies, get into physical fights. Reckless, disregard for their own safety, for the safety of others, and they are consistently irresponsible with their work, with their money, with their family, with their time. They're irresponsible, and the key feature is their lack of remorse. There is no empathy there. So they could wound you, and you're waiting for someone to say sorry to you. You're thinking that they're going to come ask for forgiveness, or no, it doesn't work. They don't have any empathy. So there's no empathy for you. So that lack of remorse is big. That lack of remorse. If you're going to diagnose this, it actually asks that you have you don't need to have all of those features, but you need to have multiple of those showing up in your life. Now, be clear, not everyone who is manipulative is antisocial. All right. They need to have that basic lack of remorse, lack of empathy. It's not there. And if you are in a relationship with somebody like that, if you have a parent like that, if you have a child that like that, this is going to obviously be a bone of contention. This is you are wanting something that's not there unless they decide to get help. Antisocial is not just I don't want to be with people. It means that I don't have the capacity to connect to people and I don't care about them, you know, as much. There is no empathy. Empathy is missing. So their emotions usually swings between having what I want and having what I want. It's always about me, myself, and I. Does that make sense? Me, myself, and I. So when we're talking about the antisocial personality disorder, we're looking at people who sometimes are in positions of power, positions of authority, but they've learned to manipulate. They've learned to charm. They've learned to how to use other people's pains against them, other people's weaknesses against them. So we're exposing this personality today, right? We're exposing this personality today. Make sure that you stay with me to the end because we're going to give you an opportunity to join the healing circle after the 10 days. This is just day 4. All right. Remember, in cluster A, they withdraw, they distance themselves, but in cluster B, which antisocial is the first we're looking at, they explode. They're explosive. They are passionate. They are intense. They show a pattern of destruction. All right. Impulsivity, manipulation. That's what we're talking about. And some of you all are in relationships with this kind of people, or you are that kind of person. You're the charmer. You are the rule breaker. You are the one who will manipulate other people. You're the one who wants to get your way. Does this make sense? You are that person. So the other person where we're talking to today. So if you find yourself, when I'm saying these things, if you find yourself to be at least 18 years old and you fit into any of this category, it means that something has happened to you. This disorder doesn't begin in adulthood. It usually starts in childhood. All right. So we're trying to understand them today. It usually starts in childhood. Boundaries have been broken in your childhood. Trust has been upended in your childhood. And this is where it starts. This is where it starts. So the roots of ASPD, which is antisocial personality disorder, starts in their early environments that are usually chaotic. There's neglect, there's abandonment, there's abuse. Many will experience caregivers who are being manipulated themselves, caregivers who do not show any empathy, caregivers who only cared about themselves, not about the child that they were raising. For some, there are genetic or biological connections. And so when you have a parent who is ASPD, then they might have children who have issues with their impulses, who have issues with their empathy. Sometimes there are regions in the brain that control the impulses, and those could be impacted. So there is, and when those are impacted, empathy is obviously also impacted. So, but the common thread is pain. The common thread is pain. A child who learns that love equals power, if they learn that love equals power, or that survival means that you have to manipulate, and relationships are game. I need to play game in order for me to get my needs met. That's where we learn it from. That's where children learn this. They will learn this from. Right? There is no nurture. There's no nurture with this person's life. So let's give an example. I like to give examples with this. So imagine a young boy who learns that When I show my feelings, I will be punished. Over time, that child then learns to mimic emotions instead of actually feeling. By adulthood, they've mastered performance and they've lost empathy. So when you master performance and lose empathy, we're talking about the antisocial personality disorder. So some learn early that love is weakness, that love is weakness. That's how empathy dies. Love is weakness. I will not show weakness. So empathy dies. And when empathy dies, then we have a problem. That means that you're not accountable to anyone. People with ASPD often thrive short term. They thrive short term. They can be good with you short term. You might meet with them and they are the best boyfriend or the best girlfriend or the best friend or this for like a year or two, and then that's it. Once that's over, they begin to struggle. They begin to struggle, and you begin to see their real self. All right. If they're in environments that are limiting, they will be challenged with those kind of environments. They make very fast decisions. They take big risk, and there is no nothing in them that wants them to reflect. They don't want to reflect. They will chase the thrill instead of actually sitting down to see, hey, does this work? Is this going to be what are the long-term goals? None of that. Their relationships will often end in chaos or control battles. I want to have control. I want to be the one in charge. I want to be the one who is fed. I want to be the one whose needs are met, not you. You're not important. They don't just break the rules either. They rewrite the rules. Okay, they rewrite the rules. All right. And don't try to guilt trip them, because they believe that guilt is a trick people fall under, and that's not them. So you can't guilt trip them. They will make up their own rules. They don't just break rules, they rewrite the rules. All right, they rewrite the rules. And so this is important for you all to know. They live in their own space where rules don't matter, and if it doesn't work, they will make their own. All right, there's nothing like guilt. There's nothing like guilt. If it works for me, if it allows me to have my way, then I'm good. Yeah. And so a lot of the antisocial personality will not find help unless it's court mandated, because they will break the law and they will usually you know be caught, and they will be court mandated. So therapy works for this population if they are able to be accountable, if there's structure and consequences, things that they haven't had in a long time, things that's not being part of their lives. It's difficult to work with this particular group, but it is doable. There are different therapies that work with the antisocial personality. The goal isn't to create empathy for them. We're not going to create empathy overnight. All right. We're not going to create empathy overnight, but we want to teach some type of awareness and responsibility, and to understand that once we start with that, even when there is no empathy, you can still have some responsibility. Does this make sense? And so healing antisocial personality disorder starts with accountability, not an apology. It starts with accountability. There's no point asking them to apologize, but can they be accountable? Can they be accountable? Can they be accountable in the family? Can they be accountable with it in at work? So if you live with someone with ASPD, or if you have ASPD, you're probably watching this and thinking, nah, you probably know better. That's what is she talking about? No, you're going to find the reasons not for this to make any of this to make sense, right? But if you live with someone with ASPD, you know how exhausting this is, right? And sometimes you even begin to question your own reality. They can make you doubt your own memory. They'll make you doubt your memory. They'll make you doubt your worth. They'll make you doubt your sanity. They'll make you doubt everything about your own life. Did this really happen? There's a lot of gaslighting that goes on with ASPD, and boundaries are not optional. Boundaries to them are not, they're survival tools. So when you live with somebody with ASPD, you need your boundaries. If you love somebody with this disorder, support does not mean submission. Let me say that again. Support doesn't mean submission. Be very careful. All right. You're dealing with somebody who lacks the basic human connectivity. So be careful. Support doesn't mean submission. You still need to stay grounded. You need to seek help. You need to protect your own peace. That is important. Boundaries are survival skills for you if you are living with someone with ASPD. Boundaries are survival when empathy is missing. When there is no empathy, you must have your boundaries. All right, you must have your boundaries. Antisocial personality disorder isn't about monsters. It's about broken empathy. Someone who's never been taught to connect without control. They've been taught to connect without control. So it's not, they didn't this all of a sudden decide I'm going to be a monster. They can demonstrate those characteristics, but we want to understand what's fueling this. What was the exposure? They never learned, and they never were taught. They never learned how to connect. It's during childhood that we learn all of these things. We learn adult tools in childhood, and when you are not taught, when you're not exposed to environments that allows you to thrive and develop the skills, well, this is what happens. All right, and so I'm asking you to understand, but I'm not asking you to excuse their actions. So you can understand somebody, the why something is happening to them, but understanding it doesn't mean excusing. However, understanding is where healing begins. All right, understanding is where healing begins. So for them, and for it begins for them to also understand that they're hurting the people around them, and for you that's been hurt, understanding is important. Excusing is not necessary. All right, it's not necessary. We need to understand that you can understand them but not excuse them. That is so pivotal in the school of healing here. At the end of the day, we want to be able to decide that, am I staying with this person? And if I'm staying with this person, what is it going to cost me? And how can I stay without losing my mind? All right. That, and also to understand that these are people who have been hurt. These are people who have been hurt, and now they're adults who need to take control of their own lives by understanding that we're connected together. We're going to start. We're going to do a healing circle at the end of the 10 days. So write join healing on your comment. Just write join healing so we can send you the link. I am Dr. Akindotun Merino, and join me tomorrow because we're going to talk about the borderline personality disorder. When love feels like fear. We'll talk about the borderline personality disorder when love feels like fear. That's what is coming. That's what's happening tomorrow. So today, though, we looked at antisocial personality disorder. I hope you've learned something. I hope you understand them better. And write your questions. I'll respond to them. Or what else, or what would you like to learn tomorrow from borderline? Let me know, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Let's see what you're typing. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Antisocial personality disorder. If you're living with someone like that, join healing. We're going to talk to you and have a healing circle. Wish you well. All right. Hello, everyone. We'll see you later.